Good morning, good evening, good night, wherever you are. And welcome to another review of the Superman series that I've been doing for the past few days. And I've been watching the Superman movies, and it will culminate probably tomorrow, where I'll review Man of Steel. Now, reviewing all these movies kind of makes you appreciate the older incarnations of Superman. Now, in Superman 2, I've stated that it is a great movie, and there are some stuff that are like, that doesn't work. But you know what? For the time it was, I think it got away with enough campiness and seriousness at the same time. I mean, there are kills in there, and there are, there's foul language. There's like, get your ass out there if you wanna be a badass. You gotta fight them some bitches. That's what they actually said in Superman 2, and it happens again in this version. There are some stuff that are cut out of this movie, and as well as replaced. Which I think there aren't a lot of stuff, but there was enough that it completely changed the movie, and making it actually fit even better in the Superman series, in continuity, and not just that, but as well as making it feel like it is actually the long-awaited sequel for the first Superman movie. Now, don't get me wrong. The Superman 2 that was released theatrically, it is a great movie. I gave it an 8. I mean, an 8 isn't like, a horrible rating. In fact, it is a great movie, and I think that it still should be held on its own as a Superman movie, and I don't think it should be erased. I just think that this is an alternative look. The Superman 2 is actually, I think I prefer calling Superman 2, the theatrical version, the alternate to this, because this is actually the one that, I think that should be remembered as the actual sequel to the first movie. And here's why. There is some stuff that are, in the theatrical version. First of all, it's longer, and the theatrical version is. The director's cut is just 2 hours, while the theatrical version is about 2 hours and 30 minutes. Now, the 30 minutes, I think that some of it could have been left out, as well as in this one. There are a lot of stuff in here that should have been cut out. Like the Lex Luthor stuff, I think still should have been cut out. I was hoping that would be cut out, but it's not cut out. And then when I saw, them escaping Lex Luthor and Otis out of the prison, I thought, oh my God, no, please do not tell me that Otis makes it, after the prison, and he'll be like a recurring guest in this movie. I just hope not. And fair enough, he's not in there, and I was so glad. And there was another thing that was going on. And at the start of the movie, Lois already knows that it is Superman, and she's like, "Yes, I know who you are. I know that you're Superman." She's got the newspaper on, and she's got the picture of Superman on the newspaper, and then she's drawing Clark Kent. She's putting on she's drawing the clothes of Clark Kent onto Superman, making Superman look like Clark Kent. She's like, yeah, I think that it is him. And then she goes, well, and she starts cracking jokes, sort of an inside joke going on where no one understands except for Kent, Lois, and the viewer, which is like, yeah, great story, Soups, or great story, Superman, or whatever. And she's just, constantly, nudging him and making him think that, dude, the jig's up. You're Superman. Let's get it out on the air. And he's like, I don't know what you're talking about, Lois. And I like that. I really like that. I like that they did it here. And I was hoping that this would be a recurring gag where she's like, I know that you're Superman, and he keeps on, somehow getting out of it, and keep making the point that I'm just a goofy idiot, I'm just plain old Clark Kent, I'm not Superman, I'm just Clark, You know, I was hoping that this was gonna happen throughout the movie. Not so much that it's, overkill, just enough, like 2 or 3 gags, and that's it. But eventually he does come clean, and they do, and he does finally tell her that, yep, I'm Clark. But you know what? The way that they did it here is much different than they did it in the theatrical version. In the theatrical version, it was done well. Where he accidentally trips and falls, and his hand is, falls onto the fire, and Lois is like, let me see, and he's like, nothing, there's nothing going on, and then she sees his hand, and there's nothing, not even not even ash is on his hands, not even a single slight of burns on his hand, and she's like, you are Superman. But in here, it's much different. You see, she's really smart. And she's like, well, I tried putting my life in danger, but this time I'm going to put yours, just to prove that you are in fact Superman. And then she shoots him with a gun. And Clark is like, what are you doing? And she's like, oh my God. And he's like, if you were wrong, I might have been dead. And she's like, well, you might have been if these weren't blanks. And he's like, oh my God, she got me. And she's like, gotcha. That was the most amazing superhero reveal that I've seen probably ever. The way that it was done, it was just so perfect. It made Lois, being the smart reporter that she is, it made Superman more human. Yes, it made him more human, that he, oh my God, I was just deceived by this human, me, the almighty Kryptonian, and she tricked me. Oh my God. I don't know what to say, and then he finally, reveals to her that, yeah, I am Superman. But there's some stuff here that is just, I don't know how they made it, how it was made into the movie, where they go to the Fortress of Solitude. I don't know how Lois survived the cold. She didn't even bring a jacket. She didn't, nothing. And another thing that I liked about this movie is where he goes into the little pod that takes away his powers. He was wearing in the theatrical version, he was wearing his Superman suit, and then once he came out, he was wearing like a shirt and pants. And in this movie, he was wearing the shirt and pants once he got in, and when he came out, he was wearing the shirt and pants. Rather than there was a change. I know it's symbolic, but sometimes symbolism really doesn't. It doesn't really cut it. I understand you gotta suspend your disbelief, and movie making is all about going onto the cinematic adventure and trying to. It's kind of like watching a Greek mythology. And I think Superman, it does, he might have been in actual Greek mythology. I think he kind of fits that mold. But anyways, sometimes it just doesn't work. But in this movie, they did redeem it. And the kiss, the mind-erasing kiss, was taken away from this movie. And I think this was done well, because the mind-erasing kiss, I don't like that. I really don't. And as much as I hate him doing the spinning the world backwards and altering time, as much as I hated that, you gotta admit it is much better than the mind erasing thing. First, because it establishes continuity, because in the first one he did that, So in the second one, it is fitting for him to do that, and it was kind of it was kind of nod, and it's like yeah, it's I get it, it's part of the Superman lore, so whatever. And the fight between him and Zod, it's great. I love the fight that was going on. Some stuff that was altered also in this movie, like non just screaming like an animal, like oh while he's running, and it's while he's flying, it's like oh it's just it was taken away. I would have preferred if you heard wind going on, but it was just silence when he was flying. It was just like, what the hell was going on? And the part where he goes to the Fortress of Solitude, walking, taking a 200-mile hike. Oh my God, no, I don't believe that. Just walking to there, that doesn't work for me. And I was hoping actually that Zod would have had other scenes where he felt like an actual threat, where he felt like, I am the guy. I no one can beat me. Lex Luthor is a guy who found out the weakness of Superman. Don't you think that you could use the kryptonite against General Zod? Just saying. You could have used that against them. You would have been like, yeah, you're gonna kill me. You're gonna kill the greatest mind in the modern era, or whatever, or the greatest mind in the world. No. You cannot kill me, because no matter how strong you are, you're not as smart as I am, and that does mean better. And then he gets out the kryptonite, and he's like, you kneel before Lex Luthor. That would have been a cool thing going on, but it didn't make it in there. And yeah, it's just Lex Luthor was just like a weasel in this movie. He's just then he goes to Superman. He's like, I was always on your side, Supes. And so like that. It's just he's like a snake. I don't like that. I prefer him in the Superman animated series, where he's more of a a media maven and a guy who owns LexCorp rather than an underground crime lord. I don't like that. I don't like that about Lex Luthor. And he is one of my favorite villains of all time, but it's just, you're so underplayed. You shouldn't even been on this movie. I think the reason why they just brought him back was, like I said, is because of name recognition. It is fucking Gene Hackman. He is the biggest star in the movie, so, I cannot fault them for that. But then again, I think it would have been a much better movie without him. Don't know if it would have been a bigger sell, though, so there you go. Yeah, that's pretty much it with the Richard Donner cut. It is a great movie. It is even better than the second one, I have to say. I would give it an 8.5 out of 10, and it is wonderful. It is a great movie. Now, it is not perfect, but it is fantastic, I have to say. It is close to perfect, I do believe. So, there you go. That is Superman 2, the Richard Donner cut. And oh my God, I have to review Superman 3. Is it as bad as a lot of people claim it to be? Is it the worst of the bunch? Or is it a guilty pleasure? Or is it perhaps a good movie? You just have to wait and see. So wait for my review for Superman 3. And until then, take care.